Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear now, see as well. Welcome, Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Today's date is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. And I'm going to do this pretty quick. I'll go through about maybe 45 minutes, give or take, real quick. I'll go through a top-down approach or a morning routine, I should say, with Phantoms. It's going to be a short session due to some of y'all probably already know with Phantoms. I just went through a big move from a different state. So, I just kind of threw up a computer in a corner. I'm only working on 2 screens. I usually have a lot more than that. So I'm not really set up shop as normal. So I just got in kind of yesterday. So anyways, I just want to put that on recording as well. Just kind of like checking in with you folks. But we'll get to business here. I'll do as much as I could just for the time allocation, and the quicker I can get actually set up, the more normalized it will be kind of going forward. That said, real quick, I'll just bring this up, kind of start this off formally here with the excuse me, with Trade Phantoms. Demand supply is the main backdrop. Top-down multiple time frame analysis. You're going to see a lot of orange, yellow, and blue. Orange color code is going to be monthly time frame association. Weekly is going to be yellow, and daily color code is going to be blue. So you'll see when you go to the TradingView charts, orange, yellows, and blues. And so I just wanted to bring that up. I usually bring that up every single day, no matter what. Quick little cheat sheet for the Phantoms members. Candlesticks, bullish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names. Location being most important on that. What's going on, Mark? I'm alive. I made it. Bearish candlesticks, location be most important. And we got the liquidity map here, my favorite thing on the planet. And I usually park that over here to the right. To the left. To the left. And also get referenced once or twice, a couple times here. All right, as much as it's going to be a quick session here. Let's start off. I'll go over into, of course, the futures market here. I'll start off with the major 4 indexes. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me. I've been unplugged from the internet for a couple of days now, so I'm kind of getting back, oiling the wheels again here. So today is Wednesday. Today's Fed Day. Is it? Yeah. Holy smokes! I actually almost forgot about this. Hilarious. Is it today? It was tomorrow. Tomorrow. Wow. That's tomorrow. Okay. We do have, we did just have core retail sales. Yeah, Joe Frank, no more birds, man. No more birds, man. No more birds. Yeah, I think that's Modi. I'm streaming on YouTube as well, YouTube and Instagram. I could probably stream on YouTube, TikTok as well. Yeah, Instagram is not so great. Not a lot of people come. So let's see. So that is tomorrow. Interesting. Okay. What is this thing? This thing's already going to 2. So we did have retail sales coming up. All right. So going into Fed tomorrow, 99% chance that they are not going to be doing something here for tomorrow. So sometimes I trade the Fed day. I'm probably not going to tomorrow just due to the lack of I'm not set up. Right? So let's move on here. So we got the major 4 indexes here. We got the S&P futures on the upper left. NASDAQ 2000 upper right. Dow Jones lower left. Russell 2000 bottom right. Small cap. This is going to be this Friday as well, June 20th. Noteworthy. It's going to be what's called triple witching, where we have the S&P futures expiring, all right, on June. Okay, we get the monthly options expiring, okay, and the index options expiring on stock. So stock options expiring, then the index options expiring as well. So it's called triple witching. So sometimes that provides, so we got a Fed week and we got triple witching. Typically would provide some movement Okay, we also have a lot of things in the backdrop as well, as y'all probably see, with Iran and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure you're trading safe. All right, I'm going to be a little bit light this week just because of all the things that are going on kind of personally here. But anyways, I just wanted to make that note there for y'all folks for that 20th. Okay, we also have, real quick while I'm here talking about that, we also have the quarterly expiration for the SPX on June 30th, and that's the end of the quarter, Q2. And that's important because there's a big, what's called a JP Morgan collar trade that typically has to get closed out and rolled over into the next quarter, which is going to be September options expirations. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about that most likely next week as I get kind of set up shop. So you see the futures did kind of pop up. Now, a lot of this is due to, well, yesterday we had a nice little pop, but we also had this rollover, okay, from, again, you can see from June 13th down at the bottom. By the way, I got the S&P futures on a daily time frame. Yeah, we got VIX expiration as well tomorrow as well, Joe Frank. Absolutely. So kind of a lot of things happening this week. So I don't know. Sometimes that opens up price. Sometimes that just kind of keeps price kind of quiescent, if you will, while the big banks, institutions, the big boys kind of unwind their positions. So we'll see, right? We'll see. As always, trade the tape. Make sure you get your level set up, and in regard to the levels, we've been working pretty well on these levels, and these Globex traps have working beautifully. So in regard to even last Friday when I got out, when I kind of unconnected from the internet, I got a daily time frame with the S&P futures here on Friday. That wasn't trading, but we swiped right back. We swiped down. This is Friday's candle, 6:13 at the date down there. That was Friday. We talked about these levels down in here, and as you can see, the 20-period moving average, we had a little liquidity sweep right there, basically right there, 59.28. So that was pretty interesting. I saw that, just looking on my phone while I was kind of disconnected and traveling. But hopefully some of y'all caught that with this nice little swipe on Friday. And of course, yesterday being Monday, we had a nice little up move here. That's yesterday's bar. So today, where futures are down 0.5% off of yesterday's kind of a decent move up. Okay, we'll see. Now these levels noteworthy here. If you rewind any of the, or if you go back and watch any of their past recordings, you'll see all these levels kind of get mapped out. But now that we've kind of swiped all down here from Friday, okay, that's going to definitely update some of the things that we're going to be looking at below current price. Current price right now is 60.60. So if you look lower, now we did rally up here too, up into the 61.09. We did have a 61.05. Okay, up in here, and the next level's up here. I got 61.31 S&P futures, 61.24 up here as well. All right, so we'll see. I'll drop down to the smaller time frame in a moment to map out what's called our Globex traps. And this is NASDAQ futures. All right, very similar Friday, right? Friday, big, we had not big, but decent swipe down, came right down into the levels that we had planned out, 21,560 down into 21,004, 70-ish, okay, daily low, nailed it right there. By the way, you're going to hear a lot of noise in the background. Again, there's moving and things like that. Trying to figure out where I want to put my office. So again, I just put up a computer in a corner right now. I feel like a little rat. So that'll get all situated and ironed out this week. So it's going to be an odd session today for sure. All right. NASDAQ futures, we get negative 54%. All right, we're going to map out our levels. Again, same thing here. Since we swiped down on Friday and kind of cleared a couple of levels here, I'm about to update that. I'm still going to be using Friday's low, which is essentially last week's low as a reference. And NASDAQ futures that comes in at 21,000, call it 470 rounding here. Okay. I'll drop down to the 60-minute time frame in a moment here right now. And we'll get to that right now. Captain Condor is back. Yeah, I saw that on the socials and all that. Yeah, you can see him right here. I can just see it right here. So 60-ish to the 59-90-ish. I can see it there. Absolutely. I'm going to get to that. Let me just do this real quick. So I got a monthly, weekly, daily. Yep, Joe Frank, it's kind of crazy right before you even right there on the options depth. And I know you could see it, the spread, right? You could see it. This is market maker positive gamma, but he sold this call 660 and he bought that and that's market since he sold that call, market maker bought that call. So that's why there's positive gamma there. And then since he bought this call, on the upper side of the spread. Market maker sold that call, so we have a negative GEX above there. So pretty interesting. So might, sometimes, this guy gets attacked. So, one of the things that you can do is almost, and the more that this fund does this, because I know he's short his face, but I think it's a fund, or at least a basket of monies. You can always like put buy the spread, buy the spread, and take the opposite of him. And if one of those spreads gets just kind of destroyed in a 5-point loss, you can take a cheap buy spread here, cheap buy spread here, and if he settles out of the money on, in the money on one of these, you'll basically have a low risk, high reward trade. That's something that I don't want to talk about right now because I don't have time. But pretty interesting. I might just put that on and go back to unpacking and setting up my office and all that kind of stuff. I might that's how I might want to play today. Just buy the spread here, and just let it unravel, see what happens. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that too much heavy right there. Monthly, weekly, daily here. I'll switch down into the 60-minute time frame. Got a 60-minute here, 30-minute here, 5-minute here, 2-minute here. Pop open the 60-minute time frame. And man, it's kind of crazy, but on Friday, as we mentioned, so on Thursday we came right up into, it's kind of crazy, but on Thursday, I didn't do a YouTube session, but I did a trading session with Phantoms members. We had mapped out, this was Thursday's Globex high, Globex low, and then we rallied up above that Globex high, came up into this level here, 60.50, into that supply zone we had, dropped down. Okay, we had 1, 2, 3 levels down here. I mentioned this liquidity sweep right over here, came right down by a couple of ticks. Liquidity sweep swept that right there, and then we rallied back up. So that was what I was talking about over here. So S&P futures on a 1-hour time frame. So I try to train my traders and Phantoms to understand liquidity. And when you see it and you know how it works, it's a beautiful thing. So last week's low is literally what 59.2750. We had this 59.2850. So 1 point right below that daily low. They're talking about how market makers and institutions really love to sweep those daily highs, daily lows, weekly high, weekly lows, monthly high, monthly lows. Okay, we rallied back up on Friday, kind of just rallied up and dropped back down, and then on Monday, of course, we all know futures were up overnight, but we kind of made some advancement, and then we dropped back down. We had the 60.95, 61.05 at the next level if we made a higher high in futures, which we did, and we dropped down off that right now. Okay, so I'll clean this up a little bit here now. Here's a new Globex high for today. Okay, gray space right here is the overnight session. Globex is a fancy word for overnight. Good job, Niklaus. Crazy sweep right there. You just got to know, right? Niklaus is a valued Phantom member. Beast. Now I'm going to update this. We did have a, we had a level. Okay, we had this level of supply right here. Okay, a couple of them right here. We kind of dropped off that, right? So I have to update this. Now we did break this. And as you can see, before I delete this and update this, what was once supply, okay, now broke. Kind of, albeit Sunday night, Sunday evening, early Monday morning. I'm talking like 3, 4 a.m. Eastern in the morning, where most people are kind of sleeping. Okay, in the U.S., we kind of rallied up, right? Yesterday we had a morning open, nice open, right? But the point that I'm trying to make is that as we dropped, we kind of used these already as some retest levels over here on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this up. Okay, this is all recorded now, so we can always get a reference of this. All right, typically what I'll do is I'll keep the boxes on, or the what was once supply, okay, but just so I can kind of keep my charts as clean as possible. Okay, I'll delete the lines over here on the hard right edge. Okay, now here's current price, here's Globex low. Okay, as you can see, we already have this basing impulse right here that we already just hit recently, pretty much overnight. As you can see, if I were to draw a box on this, let me just steal one from over here. There we go. Copy and paste. Right. And we already hit that. Okay. I'm talking about this level right here. That was developed overnight, last night, Sunday evening, early morning, on Monday, right? Today being Tuesday. And we already hit that right there, 60.44. That's the Globex low. So if I'm looking down the left, what I want to look for is an institutional level demand up low down the left. Now we do have this bit of a gap. Now this is a gap based off of the futures rollover. Okay, so it's not really like a, I don't know how do I keep it short and sweet. It's not really a valid gap, if you will. Okay, but we did have a drop. Okay, and futures on Sunday evening and Monday, and right we did rally. Okay, so I'm going to be using Friday's kind of level right down in here. Okay, call it 50. We already have a line here, 59.73 down into 59.65. Okay, this could be a potential Globex. I know it's kind of weird with the gap here, but this could potentially be a bit of a Globex trap long today. Okay, and also I'm going to be referencing last week's low still in addition to the level over here. So even if I just bring that box over here, that blue green box over here, we can still reference these levels as well. Okay, for today's session for sure. All right. Now, sometimes a day or two before Fed, you get kind of like low volatility, kind of a hurry up and wait and see what the Fed's going to do. All right, we'll see. Now, there's a couple levels up here as well. Let me just see if I can zoom down, drop down. There's a Globex trap. Yeah, we can also just reference this as well. I'll keep these levels there. So really, all the lines that we previously pretty much had in the past, we took some nice bounces off. They still kind of left levels over here, even today on the right as well. Okay, so we'll see. Of course, the lower ones are going to be better. Okay, lower ones are going to be better. And again, for Globex, these are going to be bullish. These are all going to be bullish here. Again, I'll still reference that weekly low, that 59.90. Now that has been traded through multiple times, so that I'm sure it needs to be updated. Let me see. Man, I don't have my screens up. Sucks. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I'll just make this an aggressive hand. Got cut through. I don't have time to explain that right now. Just make that like that. Cool. All right. I did that on purpose. It's pretty light. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, the Globex trap higher. If we go higher, I mean the all-time high in the S&P futures, 61.66. So I have another level higher at 21.25, 61.25, 61.35, and then we're talking about the all-time high. So there's only basically two levels above. Okay, if I go to the SPY, got a weekly on the left, daily on the right. Really, there's only there's really if I go to a one, here's the all-time high. If I go to a 1 hour time frame, here's current price up and left. Okay, and kind of zoom in on this area here to the left. Really, I want a 1 hour time frame. This is only a couple of percentage points away from the all-time high. We have this drop base on SPY 1 hour time frame, by the way. Drop right here comes in 606.64, 607.52. I would suggest not to put your stop loss right above that level. You'll be liquidity swept most likely. We have this rally, this drop right here, 609.50s, 610.70s. So again, always suggest not to put your stop loss right above there. And then that's it. Then there's the all-time high right up there. So there's really nothing. There's not much. Okay, if this market does happen to catch some bids, this could snag a quick little new all-time high. Okay, I would not price that out of the equation one bit. Okay, as we are only a couple of percentage points away off of that at the moment. Okay, we closed yesterday on a daily time frame, 1.71% off the all-time highs. Okay, so that's a couple levels above. If you want to take a quick peek at that, I'm going to go to the Nasdaq real quick. But while I'm here, this is SPYs. We are gapping down today. Pretty significant gap. If you look at the SPYs, we closed here. We're gapping down here about 0.5% on a daily time frame here. Again, forgive my charts. I spent 4 days traveling, moving to a different state. So pretty beat up right now, and my charts are super not organized. So I'll get caught up. Pre-market quote down here point. So we're going to be having a close here, outside gap lower. Okay, pretty interesting here. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. So usually this would be done. All that. All right, Joe Frank putting some good stuff. 60.44 is 50, SPX 59, 90-ish. Some good stuff right there. Joe Frank is the man. So it got down about 0.50%. 0.50 on the SPX. Oh, my charts are a mess. No good. 0.50 right here. So you're going to be opening up about 50, call it 60. All right, on the options debt, 6,000. So, wow, this guy's already, he puts it on the night before. This guy's already going to be in heat on this lower end right here. I will say, folks, if we get down below, if Joe Frank's level of 59.90 kind of snaps, we do have a little bit of a negative GAX hot pocket down here below there. Okay. So, interesting. In English, if we were to get below 90 here, there could be a little bit of a negative GAX hot pocket right here. This could kind of boil on itself below here. So you have to understand GAX. We talked about this in the with Phantoms. All right, pretty interesting there. We'd be capping down into SPX about maybe 6,000, 6,005 handle, give or take. Pretty interesting here. On the other side of the Condor, on the lower end of the put spread on the Iron Condor, Captain Condor. I'll get back to this in a moment in terms of SPYs. SPX. Let me go to NASDAQ futures really briefly. Love me some NASDAQ. 1 hour time frame. All right, straight to the point here. Globex high. Man, what a beautiful hit right there. That was Friday. And right back up for now. So Globex high here. Globex low here. And again, I'll keep the boxes here. But I gotta delete the lines, update this real briefly here. All right, below Globex low. Set Globex low here. Globex high here. And institutional level of demand below Globex low. We do have this basic impulse right here, developed overnight, 21,900 NASDAQ futures 1 hour time frame. Developed overnight, so it's, I would say, a bit more aggressive. So I'm going to just make a note there of that. Aggressive Globex trap long. All right, below there we have this gap fill, and again, these lines are still good. We tested it a couple times here, and we already broke it. But on the other side here, meaning over here, we could be referencing this level right in here. NASDAQ futures 21,600 in the event that we get down here. All right. Of course, I'm going to be looking at QQQs as well. The ETF for NASDAQ. All right. Again, so not the greatest organization here. Just be patient with me as I get my shop set up, my office and all that. I'm dying to get back to normal, whatever that is. All right, this is taking too long here. All right, 1 hour time frame in NASDAQ. Pretty clean, I will say. I mean, if we get lower. So we have this impulse spacing impulse. All right, there's another little sneaky level right here too. Just drop down on a 5-minute time frame. And there again, there's a gap. You'll see a gap. But that's the rollover gap. All right, another little level right down there, 21,000. Call it 800. Keep that even number, psychological number there. All right, I think that's good for now. Okay, just looking for again a nice little tight Globex range here. So 21,913 ish, 21,800 ish. There could be a couple little quick little Globex trap sweeps. Voila, cool. Moving on. While I'm on NASDAQ, I will look at the Qs really quickly. Then we're going to go straight to the VIX. We got 12 minutes before open. Let's see. Okay, check gold. NASDAQ. Get down here. So our NASDAQ's a bit more stronger, I will say. Oh, my charts are hideous right now. All right, Friday we retested that. Okay, just checking. Okay, let's go to the VIX. So you can see on Friday, VIX up, market down. VIX right now it is up about 6%. VIX up, market down, VIX down, market up. Inverse correlation, a lot more to that. Let me map out the overnight high, overnight low in VIX as well. Here it is here, overnight high, overnight low. Carvana. Stock's a beast. I'm going to fly through some tickers now. All right, so if VIX fades lower, market could be higher. If VIX spikes and remains high and goes and spikes higher, market could go lower. Okay, inverse correlation. We're going to check gold futures real quick. And I'll pull back. Swiped May's high really briefly up here, as mentioned for the team. So hopefully everybody did good on that, on this nice little pump rally here. Pull back pretty nicely. Globex trap could be still decent down here in the event that we get lower too. So it's trying to base right now and potentially break, but we can see on that. Bullish gold for sure. Bullish gold. Let me check Carvana. Let me see Carvana. Go ahead here. So you got the weekly on the left. Yeah, Carvana coming into some decent little demand on dailies here. Interesting. GE. It pulled back. Yeah, very similar in GE as well. I'm curious to see if this is around the 20. I could see a bit of a liquidity sweep right below this shelf right here, right below that weekly low. If this thing did want to swipe really briefly, right below that shelf. That might want to sweep real quick. And trap some gap fillers. It already did it one time over here on Carvana. It did. That was G. This is Carvana now. I could see Joe Frank. I could see it. I could see a sweep right below here, brother. On those weeklies, if that happens to do that below that shelf, level on level. Interesting there. Netflix. Netflix came last week. Came into this area here. Nice little close. Decent little close yesterday. We're basing off the 20 inside bar. This could. What's the gap on Netflix today? Is there a gap on Netflix? Side gap down, inside gap. So definitely on the list. Again, I apologize for the noise, moving and all that. I just put up a computer in the corner. Just put up a computer in the corner. Netflix is interesting. Inside. This is basically range like inside bar here for a couple days now. If this thing does base and break and pop, that could potentially go. All right, pre-split. You know, everybody wants to short this thing, so a nice little pullback. This could be a base break. I'd definitely keep an eye on it this week, today even. All right, I want to go through the FANG very quickly. The Mag 7 Apple. GLD. Hopefully y'all exited some GLD position. I let go of my last position on D diagonal on GLD. GLD kind of kissed an all-time high, so my TradePhantoms know kind of what to do here. So hopefully y'all do well on that. Apple, I'm going to save some time here. We got 5 minutes before the open. Still doing inside bar stuff. It's trying to break down a bit. I will say it's trying to break down a little bit here. Got a weekly on the left, daily on the right. Okay. Be careful with that one. Aussie USD. I trade Forex. Usually just a swing, but a more like longer term swing on that. Maybe I can check it out. We got 5 minutes more of the open. I can maybe check that out maybe a little bit later. What is the dollar? Where is the dollar at? Just chart the dollar, really. Forex moves very slow for me, at least in my world, but I'm expecting dollar. Hopefully, folks caught this. We had some levels kind of mapped out on here, but short dollar down up into this area here. All right, but the Aussie is not really one of the stronger pairs against the dollar. The Swissy is one of the stronger ones, so I like to match relative strength versus relative weakness against the U.S. dollar. And Aussie's kind of like in the middle of all that right now, so it's like really Swiss, and the euro is kind of a bit more stronger in regard to that. What is going on up there? Let's see, Amazon. Yep, I'm gonna go to Google now. Yeah, that's crazy up there. Moving sucks. Amazon, Let's see. It's like gap down. Nice little day pop on Amazon. You gotta keep an eye on Amazon. Still inside bar last week, but it's only Tuesday today, so interesting. Not quite much of a gap here. Broadcom, Beast. It's been kind of getting weird here. Took a nice trade. Took a nice day trade and swing trade last week off this. It's kind of getting pinched now. Again, my charts are just so disorganized, so it's not great right now. Slight gap down. Again, this is still going to be one of the relative strength stocks at the moment. Okay, made all-time highs a week ago or two. Google definitely one to keep an eye on. Pretty much a quote is lower. Yesterday inside day close. Google is trying to play catch up with the Mag 7, meaning Broadcom, Microsoft all-time highs, Google not quite. So it's a slight gap down today, inside gap. We'll see how the intraday tape unravels. Tesla had a swipe down, basing here. The gap's not really telling me much. We did have a planned entry. Got a minute before open. I'll just see if I can just trade the opening tape with you all, folks, real quick. This session is odd, I know. All right, if you're new to the channel, I just went through a big move, so not quite up to par. Anybody take this trade that we kind of planned with Phantoms? I'm not sure. We had this level 318 down to like 310. This impulse, basing impulse, mail level kind of dipped in there on Friday, popped out yesterday, Monday, meaning basing. So Tesla's going to be interesting. Matter of fact, we can even look at some squeeze here on this. I'll just set this up. Put that pin there for a moment. All right, but we have a slight gap down here today, gapping down to 325 handle. So we're going to be gapping down into here. So I'd still use and reference this area here, kind of like the 320, 310 area. All right, we had this level planned over here, dipped in on Friday. Interesting. My charts. Microsoft made a new all-time high yesterday real quick off that. Markets are open here. And we're already open here. Hold on. Okay, back. Sorry for that. Gotta log into another thing here. UAL. Let's see. UAL is interesting. Basing on the weekly. Last week's close was not great. Basing. Watch out for this. So this could be. It's kind of hard because you have impulse here. It's kind of basing in the middle of its last big move down. I'll get the monthly, weekly, daily here. For day trade, super mid. So I want to be careful with that. Netflix, the top of the list here. Potentially giving us a wide range bar off open here. Pretty interesting. On call. Let's see. We check VIX and internals. These kids, man. Gotta figure something out here. Gotta figure something out. Fix on lows. Advanced declines negative 1100. Not extreme, but it's lower. We'll see if that continues downtick or uptick. Vol D lower. Let me see this thing here. Make sure this is loaded. Yeah, Asher, I know you, brother. I know you. You're the man. You're the man. Gotta catch 'em all. Goated forever. Phantoms. All right, switch this to a daily. Again, this session, I almost just like called it off, but I was like, you know what? Let me check in with the crew, check in online. So if you're first time here, this is very odd right now. So again, I just want to disclaim that. I'm working off two screens. I feel like I only have I have like no limbs right now. Let's be patient here. I'm going to get this loaded. I'll match in. Yeah, got a quick spike. NASDAQ trying to go. NASDAQ is. So we definitely want to be a bit more patient here. NASDAQ and S&P futures still kind of basing inside of its Globex range. Trying to work something out here. Netflix follow through. AMD. AMD's trying to pump. Nice little close yesterday. Now we do have a wide range bar on off the 200, flat 200 over here on the daily, monthly, weekly, daily. Interesting here. And we're outside of the Bollinger Band here, so but basing, we might be able to get some legs here. It might want to pull back below it before it goes higher. Netflix definitely looking good. Meta. Microsoft pulled back decent here. It's been a beautiful pullback. It's in a nice little pullback area. Demand. Got a 60-minute time frame here. And what's called the buy zone. If we could take out this opening print here in Microsoft, that could be decent. I just looked to my upper left for another screen. It's not there. Look to my upper left and upper right. Let's see. Broadcom. Let me see. T-Mobile. Weeklies. Yeah, this is on a flush right now. Coming into an interesting area on the weeklies. For sure. Getting stretch out of 2 standard deviations here too on the monthly, on the weekly and daily. Microsoft not 100% lined up here. Dell. Yeah, Dell's basing here on the weekly, trying to absorb this weekly supply. Bears can't take it. Bears can't take it. Bears can't take it. Nice close off the last 2 months here. Good job, Emir. Good job. It could be a base break, and I like how it's above the 200 to 20. Good job. This could be a nice little base break here. Now, again, it could continue to base here, right? So earnings are done. So, yeah, what you want to potentially do here is accumulate on the lower end of the range. Accumulate here, okay, if you're bullish to break the mother bar, potentially. I know we have some weekly supply here, okay, right in here. But you see how we touched that once, dropped, bulls took it back up, right? Touched it twice, dropped, bulls trying to take it back up. And again, we're above the 220 here. So odds would be right in the Bollinger Bands are collapsing here, basing. So now this could be a base break higher, potentially. I definitely work on this. So you want to build in the lower third, or lower quarter of the range down here of demand to accumulate. Interesting setup there on Dell. Interesting setup there on Dell. And you have to, you have to think like this as a trader. They it seems like it doesn't want to, but we could even sweep right here below here. I'm on a 60-minute time frame now. They can quickly potentially. So I'll be putting orders. My phantoms know how or what I'm potentially going to be saying here. Set up the pyramid position sizing here. For a swing. This could be a sweep right here. Below this area. Below that area. I saw it can build some size here. Now today it's putting in a nice little stance bar here. Even for a day trade. For a day trade here today. And if you caught a day trade here today and you did maybe even not just today's this Friday's expiration, but even next week or maybe at the end of the month, you can maybe hold some on that. AMD actually following through, looks like. AMD trying to go there. Long call AMD, decent. If you pick up, say, like the 130 strike, they're going for about $2 there. AMD kind of following through. Netflix pulled back. Yep, no problem, man. ARM. ARM putting it. Ooh, ARM's a good one here. Oh, wide range bar. Fall through. Everybody already in this one. Monthly weekly daily going good. Nice close yesterday. Positive CRG. Fall through today. Monthly weekly daily. That's it right there. Good job, folks. Yeah, that's the one caveat with AMD. Is we do have some stuff up here on the weeklies. So that's the thing. So for the day trade, kind of already followed through a bit there. So yeah, just always look left. All right, we do have some stuff here. daily time frame now on the left, and I got a 2-minute here on the right. Pull some VWAPs. Yep, and outside of 2 standard deviations on daily into daily supply, so that's always a challenge. We got 6 more points here for SPX. What's the VIX doing here? Oh, just up on a little bit of a spike, nothing too crazy. Let's see, SPX, got spies. Yesterday was a nice gap. But that was yesterday. I just faded. Oh man, I need my screens. I feel so lost. Oh, I got one up here now. Let's see. Go for the cool, it'll fall through. Tesla getting smacked lower. That's relatively more weaker. This is breaking down a bit. So Mag 7's not looking too great here. Tesla. Let's see. Just hit VWAP. Good job. For day trade, the at the monies are what, 260, 44 deltas to 240 in terms of premium price. I'm trying to go here, positive CRG. If I pick up the 146. Apologies for that. What is this? ARM? This one already had a nice, decent fall through. All right, ARM. Good find, folks. All right, can even TP some here. All right. Good job, folks. Phantoms. All right, TP. Nice. Good job, folks. Very nice. Credit to my Phantoms members. Not I. Good job. Oh, Amazon sneaky here. Strike for ARM was the 146 strike. I'm going to unload a little more here too. Spread's a little weird on ARM, I will say. Yeah, there's a one. Well, you could have picked up the 145 or the 146, either or, right? Close to the at the monies, essentially. If that makes sense. So 145, 146 ish. I happen to do the 146. Yep. Yep. Nice little snag there. Good job, folks. I gotta move my office. I gotta figure something out here. Let me see. Cool. Nice setup. Amazon trying to sneak here. Let's see, monthly, weekly, daily. Showing some relative strength. S&P's are heavy. CVX. This thing's trying to go. Fall through now if you're already in. TP some, I would say. Unload some. Netflix. Yeah, I'd let it prove more too. And ideally, because so far we have one wide range bar off the. I'm on a 5-minute time frame here, right? So I got, you always want to look at the monthly, the weekly, the daily, right? The thing I like about it is this inside bar. We're kind of right in the 20 after we swept below, down into this weekly area in this daily demand, by the way, last week. So base. So, Netflix might be something you might want to put on your radar, for sure. But yeah, indeed, 5-minute time frame here, inside bar. This is an inside bar here. even if we close a positive COG here, meaning green bar take out this red bar right here, it's still going to be inside of the first 500 bar print here, inside day's range. So it's still going to be less reliable. Okay, but something, right now it's trying. I definitely put it on the radar, because if the daily time frame is done with its base, and this thing wants to pop, it could potentially pop. So that's something that I would definitely look at. I just missed an Amazon. Amazon's doing some good things there. XOM. Yeah, oil sector is trying to, due to the the overseas stuff. So XOM low range is trying to go. Just the stock hasn't really done much for years here. Got a monthly, but yeah, it came from low range. I got to TP some more ARM here. TP some more ARM. All right, there we go. All right, nice. Next time I'm holding bids. Tesla. The annoying thing about Tesla is it's kind of just mid on a lot of things in the daily showcases that over the past couple of days, mid-range on monthlies and weeklies. And the dailies are kind of showcasing that right now. So it's just a kind of a base. Location-wise, kind of annoying. That's the only thing about it. It has slightly down momentum here. Today, I just did a VWAP test. That white dash line there. So condition-wise, it's tough, right? So just be a little careful with it. This stuff matters here. Like, get the monthly prices above that 20, weekly prices above the 20 and the 200, and the 20 is above the 200 EMA wise, 20, 200 above. We're sitting on the it's just on a mean revert right now. We're sitting on the daily 200 PM moving average, flat 200 EMA, weekly supply, weekly demand, monthly demand all the way down here, coming off that massive rally here. So we're just kind of basing right now. So just be careful, because you can get chopped up here in the middle. Okay, you get chopped up here in the middle. You can get chopped up. That's just my 2 cents there. All right, condition, location, very important. JP Morgan, come on, man, right? I had a nice, Visa had a nice little trade in the XLF sector, the finance sector, financial bank sector, and Citigroup. You'd expect JP Morgan, the alpha, the lead dog, to kind of already pump, but it's doing its thing here. It's trying to go. It just hasn't got the fuel to get there. So just be careful with that. I was talking to the Phantoms members. This could pull back into some lower levels before it potentially wants to go higher if it's going to. For today, I did kind of dip down into the buy zone here, rising 20, rising 50 on the 1 hour time frame, and actually has some decent little fall through here. ARM, Amazon new high, TP if you're in some there. VIX back down in a downtick near its lows. Amazon new high. Netflix trying. SPY's a little annoying. NVIDIA kind of basy. NVIDIA is definitely interesting to watch. I've got some space to potentially fill if it's going to go. One thing I can suggest is yesterday's high. We can put a high VWAP, fade VWAP there. It's called a fade VWAP. Talk a lot about this in the focus classes of Phantoms. Yesterday's high fade VWAP. If we can try, if this kind of reclaims this could be a bit interesting if this thing wants to try to continue its momentum. If that makes sense. I know that will make sense to some in here, maybe not to others. But that's a concept I need hours to explain, which I do. It's on a focus class. It's definitely not for right now. But that's one thing I could potentially suggest coming into this week on NVIDIA. VIX on lows. Positive COG a little while ago on SPYs. Trying to go. The S&P futures did put in a halfway decent positive COG here last hour. Out of the rising 50, rising 20, rising 50, rising 20 above VWAP. Still mid-range on Globex trap, but the bulls are trying to take over. There's not much fall through here so far. Hims long put at VWAP. I got to be careful with that. I got a monthly, got a weekly, got a daily here. It's been very basy on the daily and the weeklies here. This is a kind of a kind of pumped already. But again, folks, you kind of you make sure you look at the higher time frames, folks. Like when I see this, it's basing off the rising 20 and the 20 is above the 200. That's some serious stuff there. See that? So if I look at the 60-minute time frame, and I'm not saying this to be a prick or anything like that, but like you're just buying a put in like the middle of a range in the context of like everything up, right? Even though it could work. Don't get me wrong, but the probabilities are this. Go find something that is in a clear downtrend to buy or put on a pullback, right? I want to see right on quadrant 1 and 4. I want to see a clear lower low, lower high low. I want the monthly, the weekly, the daily to be below the 20, below the 200. Downtrend, daily, base break lower, right? If you were to buy a put on HIMS, you're going against this the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, and the basic, right? Like you almost need a catalyst for this something to happen for this thing to just like go lower, right? Does that make sense? I mean, look at that 20 pay moving average, right? I mean, it's just riding the 20. The 20 is painting up, right? Right. So just a couple of simple things that could just help, right? And you could take the trade. Don't get me wrong. And I hope you're right. I don't want nobody to lose money. But what I'm trying to do is filter. I want you to take high quality setups instead of just. Do you think it might go down? Right. I don't want y'all to be gambling. All right. Yeah, there's always a chance that it can go down at any moment. Right. Mark Douglas trading in the zone. Anything can happen at any time. Okay. 5 fundamentals of truth. Okay. But as far as the filtration process, if you were a robot, if you were a computer, if you were AI, and you coded your AI to say, hey, never get short unless you're below the 20, the 20 is below the 200, and you have to be below monthly, weekly, daily VWAP, don't get short, right? Then this would be disqualified, right? This would be disqualified, and that's it, right? So you have to leave your emotions and your ego aside. I'm not saying anybody's egotistical or anything like that, but that's what a professional trader is. Right. I'm trying to put odds in my favor. I'm not trying to, as the kids would say these days, oh, I'm him. Right. Well, HIMS is going to take your money. HIMS don't care if you think you're him. Okay. HIMS is right. Right. So, that's not for me. Right. That's not for me. Right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right. All right, folks. I do got to bang out of here. Okay, unfortunately, be patient with me. For my phantoms that already know, I just went through a big move. It's over, but it's not really over because now you got to take a week or two to make it a home, right? I'm working off 2 screens. I usually have like 7 or 8. I'm in a little corner in a random place in my new house. I don't know where I'm going to put my new office, so I just wanted to check in with y'all. Okay, and I got a class tonight to do with some phantoms, so. I want to make sure. I think I got an area now because this was like day 1 of having my family just freaking in the background, right? So I got to figure out where is the most quietest place. Unfortunately, for the folks that know that I used where I was at, no more birds out there in Charlotte. So, but anyways, I'm gonna jump off here. I got stuff to do. The more that I can get done, the quicker that I'm up and running 100% as an oiled machine. So that said, I'm going to get back to it. If you're visiting the channel, welcome, of course. Go to TradePhantoms.com. If you would click on register here, this is where everybody started. You can see in the chat here, a ton of Phantoms members in here. People that have been around for quite some time, people that are a bit more on the newer side of Phantoms, right? Awesome. The team is growing. We got some people that are future GOATs in this industry. Thursday, June 19th would be the next time that any new folks, if you want to come check it out, name, email, register, you get sent a link. Mr. Green or Mr. Black will host about 90 minutes, give or take, of the agenda here. Y'all can read all that out, okay? And what Phantom is all about. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great as well. Don't care. We're gonna just keep moving forward. We're not for everybody, and everybody's not for us. All right, so they'll go through that process: stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto, day trading, swing trading, even long-term management, as I, of course, manage long-term portfolios as well. Okay. That said, God bless. Take care. I'm back. I'm safe, and let me get to work on this house here, so we can get the ship rolling, steam rolling as normal. Blew out. God bless. Take care. Trade safe. Be safe.